Okay, so now we have a big number like this, like 12 times 98, which just isn't fun to do. You can always stack it, you know. Okay, you can do what we did and chunk it into pieces. But I want to show you one thing is a ratio table. So let's say, for example, we have 1, 12. And with multiplication, what we want is we want 98 12s. So what is 98 times 12? That's going to be our question. And we're just going to build our way up to it. Now, you could do 90 and 8 and then add them together. But I don't know what 9 times 12 is off the top of my head. So what if we did something else? What if instead we went too big? What if we said, okay, I don't know how to get 98, but I can totally get 10. And you're like, wait, 10? How does that work, Mr. Schreiner? Well, this is just a baby step. If you can get to 100, that's cool. But if you can't, we can start with 10. 1 times 10 is 10. 12 times 10 is 120. So then if I multiply by 10 again, I get 100. And 120 times 10, again, is 1200. So that means my answer is super duper close to 1200. So now the question is, how far is 98 from 100? Well, it's 2. So what I'm saying, let me use bitter color here. There you go. So if I figure out what 2 times 12 is, which is 24, that doubling stuff pays off. Then all I got to do is this. All I got to do is 100 minus 2 gives me 98. So 1200 minus 24 will give me something. So we are totally good with subtracting. 1200 minus 24. But yeah, I hate borrowing. I wish there was an easier way. Well, maybe there is. Let's see. Oops. What if, so we can do this. Bam, bam, bam. That's 1 and 9 and 10. 10 minus 4 is 6. 9 minus 2 is 7. 1, 1. Okay? So let's get that answer out of the way. Oops. It's going to be 1,176. Now, what if instead we just found 1,200 minus 20? That's easier. That's going to be 1,180. But then we wanted to take 4 more away. So then that minus 4 is 1,176. You can do it in pieces too. You don't have to do the whole thing. It's whatever you want. So, but let's go back for a second. So what we did was we did 1. Essentially we did 1 to 100. Then took 2 away and got 98. So these are all small steps, so we don't have to make a giant step. It's like when you were younger and climbing up the stairs. Yeah, you tried like 4 steps at a time once your legs got long enough, but like that got old quick. So yeah, you do 1 step at a time, maybe 2 steps at a time, instead of having to do 4, then 4, then 4. So that's 12 times 98 is 1,176. Okay, pause this if you want. Look back on it. I'm just going to do a couple more. What about this one? Oh my gosh, 999 times 17? That's just not pretty. Well, let's deal with it. So let's see here. So we have 117. Okay, and what I want to do is I want to get to 999. Oh my gosh, well that's a pain. Oh, but I bet it would be easier to get to 1,000. Well, let's do a baby step here. If you're not comfortable with getting to 1,000 off the bat, that is completely cool. let's get to 100. And if you're still not comfortable with that, let's just get to 10. And we'll show you how those jumps work. So, 1 times 10 is 10. 17 times 10 is 170. Times it by 10 again to get 100. So add another 0 here to get 1700. Times it by 10 again to get 1000. Add another 0 because that's timesing by 10. And you get 17,000. Whew, that's a big number. Now, once again, if you could just jump to 100 and then do 1000, you don't have to do 10. Or if you could just tell me what 17 times 1000 is 17 with 1, 2, 3 zeros, you're going to be good. So whatever jumps you feel comfortable with. So now we want to do 1000 to 999. So that's just, we're using pink, let's do orange. 1000 minus 1 is 999. So we do 17,000 minus 17. Okay. Now I'm going to show you 2 ways to subtract this. And you're like, Mr. Schneider, really another way? Yeah. So subtract. You can borrow to 6, 9, 9, 10. And that's 3. 10 minus 7 is 3. 9 minus 1 is 8. 9, 6, 1. And that's going to be our answer. 16,983. So you've just multiplied 17 times 999 by just getting to 1000 and subtracting. That's pretty cool. But Mr. Schneider, you promised us another way to subtract. Oh, I did. So let's see. Man, 17 is just a weird number to subtract. What if instead I just bumped that up to 20? You know? What if I just did that? Well, that's a little easier because that's 1, 6, 9, 8, 0. But wait a second, I had to bump 17 up by 3 to get 20. So then let's bump this answer up by 3. Okay, so we're going to kind of get into more creative ways to add and subtract after Christmas probably. I really want to get down with multiplication, but really it's up to you. So, let's see here. So what we've done is we've done 999 times 17 by just moving from essentially 1 to 100 to 1,000. Or, once you're really savvy at this, 1 to 1,000. And down to 999. So we turn this ugly multiplication problem into a pretty simple subtraction problem. Okay? Now let's look and see where it's a little trickier. Abe, you better not be bottle flipping. If I hear it again, I'm taking it. Okay. So let's see here. 47 times 22. So there's a lot of different ways you can do this, okay? I want to show you ratio table, but you could totally chunk it, you could stack it, you could lattice it. You have lots of great ways to do it. So let's look. Let's say we have, okay, let's start with this. What if we have 122 and we need to know 47 22s? Okay. Oh man, that looks tough. Well, what if we just say 47 is super close to 50? Okay. Well, it would be 50, but it's 3 away from 50, so that 3 is going to be important. We got 3, and we got a 50. Because if we could do 50 minus 3, we'll get 47. Okay? So, you may be like, okay, we can do that. That's cool, buddy. Or, if this is feeling confining to you, just like putting it like this, what you can also do is just say, okay, the math I'm putting up here. 47 is 50 minus 3. Cool. So let's figure out what number we want to get to first. Let's get to 3. Why not? What's 3 times 22? Well, 3 times 2 is 6. The other 2 is 6. 66. Awesome. 3 is done. Now we need 50. Mr. Schneider, are you saying we do 5 times 22? Well, you could. That's legit. But what if, watch this. What if you want to get 50? So instead, we look at 10. Watch this. Oh, we can do that, Mr. Schneider. That's not bad. 10 times 22? That's 220. What's half of 10? That's interesting. Well, half of 10 is 5. So what's half of 220? Well, half of 2, I don't know, but half of 22 is 11. And add the 0. Oh, and then you can move from 5 to 50. So knowing your tens and then cutting that number in half to get 5 can sometimes be easier than just multiplying by 5. Okay, so let's go to pink. 5 times 10 is 50. 110 times 10 is 1 with 2 zeros. So now we have 50 and we got 3. We got 50 minus 3 is 47. So now we do 1100 minus 66. Subtract it out. Bottle. That's 0, 9, 10. 10 minus 6 is 4. 9 minus 6 is 3. 0, 1. There you go. So, by just doing a little bit of halving, and just multiplying by 10, really, we've done 22 times 47, which is 1,034. That's pretty sweet. Let's look at what about this one, Mr. Schneider. Oh, 12 times 501. You could do this by chunking if you want. You know, 12 times 500, 12 times 1, add them together. That's totally legit. Let me show you ratio tables. So we have, that's a ratio table sound effect I made. This is how I always start. I always say, okay, 1 over 12. And I want to know what 501 twelves is. Oh my gosh. Oh, wait a second. Look. I already know what 112 is. So I need to know 500. Okay. I could do 5 times 12. I get, I don't know. Maybe you know it in your head. If you know it in your head, go for it. You know what I mean? If you know what 5 times 12 is, then you can just do 5. Go up to 50. Oops, that's a horrible written 50. Then go up to 500. That'd be awesome. But if you don't know what 5 times 12 is, and you don't want to think about it, then instead, just get to 10. 10 times 12 is 120. Cut that in half. Half of 12 is 6. Bring in that 0, 60. Oh, 5 times 12 was 60. Good to know. So now I can make my jumps. 50 is 600. 500 is 6,000. So these are just tiny steps. And I forgot to show my work. I'm sorry. I divided by 2. I times by 10. And I times by 10. Now, I could have just times that by, I could have just times this by 100. But I'm still doing the little steps. I'll do the big steps later. Okay. So now I need to know what 500 plus 1 is, and that's 501. So I do 6,000 plus 12. And that, my friends, is 6,012. So you, by thinking, you've done 501 times 12. And you're building your number sense, which is super duper important. Okay? So let's look at another one. Ooh, wow, this is a good one. 997 times 18. That is a lot of chunking. Or that's a lot of steps. That's a lot of lattice. So let's look at it. Well, I'll start with 118. And my goal is to get 997. Well, I'm going to write this above here. I know that 997 is just 1,000, which is easy to get to, minus 3. Okay, let's get 1,000 first. Let me get different colors here. There you go. Let's get 1,000 first. I'm going to do a big jump. Are you all ready for this? So let's do 1 times 1,000. The last zero is going to bug me. There you go. So that's just 18 times 1 with 3 zeros. Oh my gosh, you just done 18 times 1,000. 18,000. Good work. Oh, but now we need 3. Ooh, I don't know what 18 times 3 is. Well, there's no problem. You can either figure it out, or you can just say, hey, look, I know what 18 times 2 is. That's 36. This is you building relationships. And then 1 plus 2 is, there it is, 3. So 36 plus 18, 18 plus 36, add them up. I'm really bad with adding 8 plus 6, but I think that's 14. 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 3 is 5. There you go. 3 times 18 is 54. So now I've got my pieces. I've got all the pieces that I need. I've got my 1,000 piece. And if I subtract it by my 3 piece, I get 997. Pretty cool. So now what I do is I say, okay, I need to do 18,000 minus 54. Borrow, borrow, borrow. Boom. That's a 7, that's a 9, that's a 9, that's a 10. 10 minus 4 is 6. 9 minus 5 is 4. 9 minus nothing is 9. 7, 1. There you go. 1, 7, 9, 4, 6. So 997 times 18 is 17,946. That's kind of cool, right? Okay, one more, I think. Let's see. Yep, one more. Okay. There you go. Okay. 9 times 496. Okay. We start off with a 9. And then we need to get to 496 nines. Oh my gosh. Well, you may think, wait a second, Mr. Schneider. It doesn't have to be 496, does it? Well, no, it doesn't. That's a good point. You're right. It could be 500 minus 4, because 496 is super close to 500. Okay, I can get to these numbers. Which one do you want to get to first? 500? Okay. Well, can we make that jump? Are we ready? Let's try. Let's get to 500. Well, I got to multiply by 500 here. Just look at 9 times 5. Well, that's 45. And then how many zeros? 2. Wow. You just did 9 times 500. Good work. That's what I'm talking about. That's why we get up in the morning. So now we got to do 4. Do you know 9 times 4? 9 times 4 is 36. Now, if you didn't know 9 times 4, is there a way you can get to it? Well, totally. You could do 2. I can bet you know 9 times 2. That's 18. And then if you double it again, 36. Same answer. Well, that's cool to know. So now, anyway, so now we have 500 minus 4 gives you 496. So 4,500 minus 36 will give us our answer. So that's 4,500 minus 36. Borrow, boom. So that's a 4, that's a 9, that's a 10. So that will be 4,464. Sweet. That is so cool. You were able to do 9 times 496. And what's cool is that that's only one way to do it. How neat is that? Anyway, so there you go. Shoot me an email if you have any questions. Look over this video as many times as you want. Okay? Have fun.